Hi there, it's Jill Blanchett with Green Thumb Stampers. I've got my first alternate right now from the May 2024 Paper Pumpkin Kit called The Best There Is. This is what the kit made. This is the first alternate that I'm going to make for you and show you how I did it. This month I'm again keeping them pretty straightforward, trying to use as least amount of supplies as I need to. From the kit so that you can use it for whatever else, it was designed for. So we're going to start with, from the kit, you're going to need an envelope, and you're going to need one of the dark early espresso cards, and that is it. We'll use the stamp set, and that's it from here. And I'm getting both my sample card and this card from the same pieces, so you will be able to get these at least two cards like this same one out of these supplies. I've got an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of early espresso, so fold that in half, burnish it good, or score it at 4.25. I have a piece of crumb cake that is 5.25 by 4 inches. And we are going to set the base aside and then build from there. So we're going to go ahead and cut this card off at 4 inches. Nope, 3 3/4 inches, because this piece here was 4 inches wide. So cut it at 3 3/4. And then you can cut them at like 2.5, 2 3/4. You just need how much ever you want at the bottom. This one is about 2 3/4 tall. This one over here I did 2.5 inches tall, but the strip that we're going to put on is going to cover any gap. So if you want to save on your paper, you could even shrink it down to like 2 and then put the strip through the center. So how much ever paper you want to save is a way to go. And then I ran it through, can you see that on the back? I ran it through in an embossing folder that I had called Bark. It's a 3D bark folder. I was just wanting to give a little extra dimension. Not that you can really see it, but if you don't have it, don't worry about it. You can skip that step. I'm going to glue this on. And now, as you know, it's very like bumpy from the embossing folder, so I'm just going to run over it a couple times with my brayer so that the glue that I put on there is smushed in real good and gives it a chance to stick. Then I took the envelope, I trimmed the sides off the envelope. Just a smidge is all you need to do so that you can open it up. This first card I used the flap that would have been up here, and now I'm going to cut off from the top so that the bulk of what my leftovers are is the solid piece, the solid front of the card or the envelope, so that you don't have any score lines or anything through it. So let's go ahead. We need to cut this one at this was 2 3/4, so I needed about 2 1/4. So we're going to go right here and cut that off. It's pretty much just at the flap, and that with the texture where that score line is, you're not going to see that, so that's good. Then we need to cut it at 3 3/4 inches wide. So we're going to cut a little bit off. Okie dokie. Let's see here. I may have just messed myself up because I didn't take into account the curvature of the envelope. So let's see. We're going to cut that straight. See how much we're still pretty good. We got about 2 1/8. So when you cut yours, take the curvature of the envelope into account. Let's see where we got. So then we're going to I'm going to stick this on here, and we're going to go ahead and adjust accordingly. So I'm going to push it up toward the top. And then we're going to glue it down, and then I'm going to let my strip fill in here because we did need a little bit more in there. So let's go ahead and glue that down. We did need a little bit extra. So I'm just going to make it look right up at the top. Then I have a strip of Early Espresso that is an inch wide, and then it's 3 3/4 inches long, and I'm just going to show you on this piece. Take your bone folder and keep turning it around, and kind of like your curling ribbon, Christmas ribbon, you're just going to keep pulling up on it, and it's going to break down the fibers in the paper. And Stampin' Up! Paper is solid core all the way through, unless you get some of our white core paper, but we don't have that right now. Our typical papers are solid all the way through our core, or our line of papers. So breaking those fibers down is going to split this apart. And you can see I got to tug on it a little bit. I don't want to tug on it because it's going to rip it. So if you get that, just keep pulling on it. Don't pull too hard. You could rip it. See how I ripped it? If it's not ready to go, you can rip it there, or you could just pull so hard you rip it. But that's what we're going for, this kind of a suede-y looking paper. And I have one from the last card right here. And I'm going to glue that on. And then you can glue it as high or low as you want to make the split in the card, if that makes sense. You can, if you want a little bit less size up here, if you want it more equal, if you want more of the bottom color showing, it all goes with the placement of this suede brown piece. Now I have some of the cork rounds. I was able to get a pack of those in the last mini catalog from January. So I'm just putting 3 of those on there. And then I have a piece of crumb cake that I cut out with this die. This is the coordinating dies that go with March, April, May. Oh, April, May, June. Sorry. The April, May, June dies. I'm assuming. And so I used the frame for this one, and I cut out of crumb cake. Then I'm going to take the trees from the stamp set that we got. Love this stamp set. And I'm going to stamp the trees down in crumb cake. And you can stamp off if you want so that it's not all that dark. I don't think that it came out too dark because then I went over with Early Espresso and put the words "with love and admiration to the most amazing person" right here. And that you want to ink up real good. And then I'm just going to stamp over the trees. And it, like I say, it should be dark enough. And then I pop this up on the front. Let me cut. My scissors go. I'm stamping over here next to where I craft, and oh, there they are. I was gonna say I can't believe how many things I've lost, but I can see it's getting darker in a hurry. We were supposed to get some rain in about 10 minutes, and I think it's coming. It's getting dark. And so I'm going to stick this on the front. Then we're going to go ahead and glue this onto the front of our card. Right here. And then I'm going to put a piece on the inside of crumb cake that measures 5 1/4 by 4. Right here. I like to turn them this way sometimes to get a better look at how even my spacing is. And then on the inside, I went ahead with Happy Father's Day and some more of the trees. So I'm going to take the words off. We'll go back to the trees and our crumb cake. I just keep setting stuff on top of it. Ooh, sorry. Ooh, that was loud. Ooh. We're going to put some trees down here. And the reason I went over here is because it was tall and short. And if I went over here, it would have been tall and short. And I just thought it looked more uniform on that side. Then we're going to come in with our Happy Father's Day in early espresso. I'm going to just finish the card off right there, like that. I'm going to flip it over and finish it off with my Jill Blanchette on the back. Don't ever forget your name on the back so that you can let people know that you made that by your own hands. So there we go. That's our first card.